Okay, so you are ready to use Photoshop for your first time, and you're going to create a new animal. The first thing you need to do is go to your Start menu, All Programs, Adobe Design Premium CS4, and open up Photoshop. It's the dark blue icon. As soon as Photoshop is open, you're going to hit File, New to create a new document. You're going to title this document the period number of your class, your last name, and the word New Animal. The document size is 11 inches for the width, 8.5 for the height, and the resolution is 150. The color mode should be set to RGB, and the background contents should be set to transparent. Go ahead and hit OK. So here you have your layers palette over here. This is where your document is. This is your canvas. We need to open up some pictures that we're going to use within our canvas. So we're going to hit File, Open. They're on my desktop. Here's the cow, File, Open, and the tiger. They may be located in teacher class files for you. The first thing we want to do is put all of our photographs into our canvas so that we can close out of these photographs and we don't need to deal with them anymore. Use your black move tool. You're going to pull this off the toolbar, and you're going to select your canvas, click actually onto your pod, onto the tiger, click, and let go and drag. I didn't do that right. Click and let go, you'll get the plus, and you'll be able to drop your tiger in. Go ahead and close your tiger now. For your cow head, click, drag, let go. Click, drag, and drop. I have to check my image size. Image size. Just making sure that my document was set up properly. You don't need to do that. Okay, so what you're going to do next is you're going to use your move tool and make sure Show Transform Controls is checked. That's this little checkbox right here. Make sure that's checked. You don't have to have auto select on, but please make sure this is checked. What you're going to do is you can click on your tiger and you're going to stretch him. You won't have the little squares to stretch if that button is not checked. When you're done stretching, hit enter. If you want to constrain proportions, meaning keep it the same scale and not have the tiger warp, hold the shift key. Now let's label this layer tiger. As you can see, in Photoshop you have different layers. Your layers are kind of like pieces of paper on top of each other. So we have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Layer 1 is empty, layer 2 is your tiger, layer 3 is your cow head. So you can turn them on and off if you don't need them. You can turn it off when you're not working on them. It's kind of nice. So double click on the word and relabel your layers. It's always important to stay organized and have everything labeled. So with my cow head, I want to shrink that so it approximately fits. Actually, we're not going to shrink that yet. We're going to delete the background. The first thing I want you to do is use your magic wand tool. In Photoshop, you have lots of different tools that create selections, like the quick selection tool. It works like this. It'll create a selection at a time. You can keep adding to the selection. Okay, and that would be one way to delete the background. Another way is if you hold that down, you have the magic wand tool. You can click here, click again, and hit delete on your keyboard. That's another way. Go to select, deselect to get rid of the bounding box. We want to step backwards. Edit, step backwards. You can always hit edit, step backwards to undo anything. Select, deselect to get rid of that layer. And then the last tool I want to show you, so I showed you quick selection, magic wand. You could select the background and hit delete. That's one option. The one that I want you to use today is I want you to try your eraser tool and magic eraser tool. Actually, just try your magic eraser. It's much easier. So you can just click, and then the solid color will disappear. It only works if your area is solid. So that was very nice. So anyway you swing it, delete that blue background. You're then going to click on your black selection tool again, your black move tool, and we're going to fit this cow head onto our tiger. We need to flip it over. We can actually click right here and just flip it over just like that. And we'll shrink it so that it fits the tiger. Again, if you want to rotate, you kind of hover over one of the corners, any corner, and you'll get the arced arrow. Once you have the arced arrow, you can rotate. I still need to get a little smaller. It's okay if you have some tiger fuzz sticking out. I'm going to show you a way to get rid of that. Like here I have his back and his ear and stuff. That's fine. I'm going to show you a tool to eliminate that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move to is the eraser tool. So we started with the magic eraser. Let's go to regular eraser, straight up normal eraser. With every tool in Photoshop, you have your toolbar to the left, and at the top are your tool options. So with your eraser tool, you have different sizes. So if you click up here where it says brush, even though it says brush, it is for the eraser. You can change the master diameter so it's very large, okay? Or smaller, that's up to you. You can change the hardness. It's going to be set to 100%. I'll show you what that does. If I click, it's going to take out a whole circle. I'm going to hit edit undo. If I turn the hardness all the way down, it's going to be much softer when it erasers. So that's what we want. We actually are going to turn the hardness all the way down. I'll get a nice big brush. Doesn't matter what size. And I'm going to turn the opacity down as well. It should be set at 100%. That's the default. But we're going to turn it down to about 50%. So opacity is the transparency. It's making something transparent. So we're making our eraser, anything we touch is going to be transparent. It's not going to totally erase right away. So what we're doing is we're just creating a soft eraser so that we create a nice transition from the cow head into the tiger. Okay, so that's nice. That's all I wanted, and then I'm going to move on. So that's how you use your eraser. The next thing we're going to use is our clone tool. I'm going to actually turn the cow off for this one, just so you can really watch what I'm doing. The clone tool looks like a stamper. It's right here. It says clone tool, clone stamp tool. So when you use this, again, your tools are up at the top. You have the opacity, all that stuff. We're going to turn the opacity up. Give ourselves, I'm going to just use a bigger brush just to show you, and then I'm going to turn the hardness up as well. Make sure you're on the correct layer. Currently, I am not on the correct layer, which is why I'm getting an error. Always pay attention to what layer you're on. I'm on the tiger, that's why it wasn't working. So here we go. If I click, it's going to give me another error. It's going to say you must use the Alt key to define your source, your target source. So what this tool does is it clones an area of the project into another area. So if I hit Alt right here on this rock, I'll be able to put some rock right over the tiger's face so that we can eliminate the tiger without erasing it. If I were to erase it, it would just put a giant hole in the project and it would look fake. So this way, we're copying something else to kind of make it look like normal. I'm going to be dramatic here and just kind of show you how the tool works. And then I'm going to show you how I would use it. So all you did was you had to hit Alt and click an area you wanted to copy. And then as your mouse moves, there's a little cursor that it's following, and that's what it's actually copying. That's how it works. I'm going to hit Edit Undo. I'm going to do that again. So I'm hitting Alt, and I click, let go. And now I'm going to just kind of paint over the tiger's head with rocks. Okay. Oh, I don't like where it's going. I need a new target area. So I need new rocks. Click, let go. You can put on, I feel as though I need to turn the hardness down because it's looking extremely fake. So you can turn the hardness down and maybe turn the opacity down as well, and do it again. Alt, pull some rocks in from up here. It's going to give me a softer copy. More Alt, let go. Alt, let go. Alt, Alt, Alt. So I'm constantly going to a new area, so I'm not repeating the same area. I'm getting rid of that tiger's head, creating my own rock look. If I turn my cow on, let's see how I'm doing. Okay, so I don't see the tiger anymore. I need this little area right here. Alt, Alt. Okay. You also have your blur tool. If you wanted to use your blur tool to kind of like smudge things together, you could use that as well. If if it's sort of looking fake. You could do the same thing with the smudge tool. Whoa, that was maybe a little dramatic, a little too much, but that's how that would work. So just maybe a little smudge, and then put my cow head on. You don't have to smudge it all if you don't want to. Okay, so now I have my cow head going into my tiger body, and I got rid of the tiger in the background by using my clone tool. I just threw in the blur tool and the smudge tool to help you out if you need that. So the last thing I'm going to show you is actually a couple more things. If you go ahead to layer 1, we're going to call that paint. And we're going to title that paint, and we're going to pull that up to the top. You can always rearrange the order of your layers. With paint, I'm going to, the way paint works, to use your paintbrush is right here. It's right above the stamp tool. And you can just actually, I'm just going to paint and then undo it. So you can just go ahead and paint whatever you want. Edit, undo. But what I want to do is I want to choose a color. You have this thing down here called a color picker. If you double click on it, you can pick any color. So I want a color to kind of match. I want to put my cow head, put some brown into the black spots so that it kind of blends a little bit more with the rest of the tiger body. If you want to kind of match it up, when you're in your color picker, if you just hover over your screen, you'll see you get an eyedropper. Then you can click anywhere on your screen and get that actual color to match. So I'll get a nice brown. It looks beautiful. And I'm going to paint my spots of my cow. Notice I am on a new layer that says paint. I'm not on my cow head. I'm not on my tiger. I need my cow turned on so I know what I'm painting. If I need to make my brush a smaller size, you guys should know what to do. You can now change the size. Okay, I know that it looks extremely fake. I'm going to show you a technique. What we're going to do now is we're going to blend this into this layer. So we're merging these layers together. By hitting normal and going down, seeing some different options, you can see it'll blend the brown into the rest of it. I think soft light looks nice. And then once that's on, you can even add some more color and kind of blend it in. I might need an eraser. It's getting a little fake. Eraser. Oh, my opacity should be turned up. It's not really erasing. Okay. So it's subtle. I was trying to make it look natural, so it's not a dark brown. It's just something nice and light. A subtle change, a way to kind of match the color if you want. Just one option. All right, moving on. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Google. And once you're in Google here, you're going to search for cow. With Google, here you have an advanced search. Okay, so you can go to images. You're all familiar with this. I know that you've searched on an image Google search before, but what you're not familiar with is an advanced Google search. If you click on this gear here and hit advanced search, it's going to give you some other additional options to help you out. So your image size, we want to do larger than 800 by 600. It's talking about pixels. It's going to find some high quality images with large pixels so that I'm not getting any of those small thumbnails. I don't care where it's from, any type. I want a photograph. Let's eliminate that clip art. I saw some of that pop up. I don't want that. I want it to be a JPEG. And then usage rights. This is so important. Right now it's not filtered by license. It's going to give me all sorts of pictures of cows. If I hit free to use, share, or modify, even commercially, now it's going to give me pictures that I can use and manipulate in Photoshop, that I have the right to do that. So then go ahead and hit advanced search. Okay, so here we are. I want this cow, this first one that pops up. If I were to save this right here, save image as, I'm going to throw it on my desktop, hit save. I'm going to show you the difference between saving this and saving the actual photograph. This is a thumbnail. This is a common mistake made in computer art. Many students will save this and work directly on this photograph, where this is smaller in size. So we need to click on this, hit view image. There we go. There's our beautiful big picture of our cow. We're going to right click, Save image as. Now throw that bad boy on the desktop. There we go. So now if I look at both of them, I've got the little guy and the huge picture. When I look at the little one, if I am to zoom in, you can see how it gets pixelated. Or if I look at the next one and I'm to zoom in, the quality stays the same most of the way, all the way, zooming in on the cow, because it has more pixels in this picture. So anyway, this is the cow we want. I threw it on my desktop. You can put it in your Z drive if you'd like. Go File, Open, and open up that cow. Cow, female, black, white. There she is. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we are going to unlock this background. Double click, type in cow2, and OK. The reason we're doing that is if we delete something, it would be white instead of actually deleting it. Now we're going to zoom in. We're going to take her udder. We are making a female TICOW. So I'm going to show you a little bit here. I've got 3 different tools that I wanted to talk about that I didn't talk about yet. Lasso, polygonal lasso, and magnetic. The lasso tool, that's number 1. So we want to just take her udder. If I use the magic eraser or the magic wand, it's not going to work and it's not going to be easy. I'm going to show you how to make it easy. So the way that this tool works is you have to hold your mouse in and go all the way around and draw and then connect to create a shape. Now you've made a selection around the area you want to keep. Okay? I'm going to select, deselect, and show you the other ones. The only unfortunate part is you have to hold the mouse down and you can't make a mistake, like I just made a mistake there. Okay? So that's a little frustrating because you have a mouse instead of a pencil. It's really easy to use on my smartboard. Anyway, the next one, polygonal lasso. A little bit nicer. You can click and it's like kind of like you're a cowboy. You've got this thing attached to your mouse still and you can click and go all the way around and you have a little bit more control. The only thing is it's a little jagged. It's not going to give you the smooth, rounded edges. But you can always clean that up with something else. Okay. And around. You have to go all the way around to finish your selection. And the last one, the magnetic lasso. When I click, it clings to the contours of my picture. You can help it cling by clicking your mouse, and that places an anchor point where you want it to place. This is not a bad one for this option, for this cow, for this particular area that we're cutting out. This would be my choice. This is what I'm going to use. So again, you can click, but it's also going to cling to the contours. If your contour lines are not clear, it's going to have a harder time deciding what to cling to, like a magnet. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and hit Edit, Copy. We're going to go to our project and hit Edit, Paste. Beautiful. Now we just have that pasted in. We can actually close this, don't need it anymore, and we're done with it. Here we have layer 1. We're going to call this Cow 2. Make sure you're on layer 1, and you can find the right placement for it by using your Move tool. Again, your Show Transform controls should be on. So I'm going to flip this over. I think it's backwards. And kind of fit it up in there. Make it a little smaller. It's a little too crisp of an edge like the cow's neck is. So I'm going to use my eraser tool to erase it. I just shrunk it and made it look all strange. Move it down again. I'm going to get closer so I can see. Use my magnifying glass. Zoom in there. So I use my eraser tool. I need to make it smaller. Go ahead. Hardness is down. Opacity should be down as well. Give myself a soft edge. So this blends a little bit more naturally. And that's already looking better. Okay? You can still play with it a little bit more. I could do a little bit more. I feel like it would look a little bit more natural if I played with it some more. So anyway, that's how you would do if you needed to cut out using a lasso tool. So I just went over a lot of tools. I'm all done with my TICOW. So go ahead, and now will be the time that you would save your project. Okay? And always make sure you know where you're saving it. Right now I'm throwing this on my desktop because I'm not at school, I'm at home. But if you're at school, please put it into your Z drive. Be aware of where you're saving to. It should be titled what you want to title it. It is a Photoshop document. Go ahead and hit save. I mean, for me, it's on my desktop. Again, you should put it in the Z drive. So there you have it, a new animal.